So I had a couple questions about how to make Greek yogurt. It's super, super easy. First, these are my yogurt makers, and I got them all at the thrift store. So if you keep your eyes open, it's pretty easy to find a yogurt maker at the thrift store. These two are basically the same. I think this one's digital and this one's like analog as far as the timer goes. This one here is like one big jar instead of filling up individual serving sizes. And depending on how thick I want my yogurt, sometimes I'll do this big jar, and then this I did buy online, and it's essentially like a straining system, which you could use cheesecloth or something else. But this is pretty nice to strain the yogurt if I want to make it really, really thick. So for reference, this is my yogurt that I made in the little jars and I didn't strain. And this would be my yogurt I made in the big container and then I strained. And so I just thought you'd like to see the thickness. So that is without straining it, which is still like quite thick. And then this is strained. So it does make somewhat of a difference, and it just sort of how I feel. As far as making the Greek yogurt, all you need is Fairlife milk and any yogurt you want to use as a starter. Preferably fresh and not like it's been open for like a week in your fridge. So you really want the Fairlife milk because of how it's been processed. They've already denatured the proteins. I use it partly because I'm lactose intolerant, so it works well for me to make lactose-free yogurt. But because they've filtered out the water and just part of the whole process of how they make the Fairlife milk, you can skip the whole step of having to heat up your milk to the correct temperature and then cool it down and all that. So if you use Fairlife milk, all you have to do is dissolve a tablespoon or two of yogurt into the Fairlife milk and put it in your jars and turn it on. Okay. All right, so I've put a little bit of my Fairlife milk in this bowl, and then I'm just gonna get a couple spoonfuls of yogurt. And you don't have to use, I use about 2 tablespoons for the whole jar of carton of milk, but you could do half a carton of milk and just 1 tablespoon. And then I just break up the yogurt. It's easier to do it if you just have like a cup of milk or so in there and not like the whole container. But once I don't see any more lumps, I can add in the rest of the milk. And if you want any flavorings like vanilla extract, this is when I add it in. Or if I'm making it for my kids, I sometimes add some maple syrup. Okay, so I've added in my maple syrup because this is for the kids, and my starter, and I've mixed it all together, and my vanilla extract. So now I just pour it in the jars, and then I'll set a timer and let these stay in here for 9 to 10 hours. The other reason to use the Fairlife milk is it does come out thicker than if you use just regular whole milk. And so I really find it comes out a nice consistency. Now, part of the reason I like making my own Greek yogurt is I can obviously control what ingredients are in there, but also it's not as sour. It's like just eating cream. It totally takes the bite, and so I don't mind eating it plain, whereas I can't really stomach any plain yogurt over the that I can buy at the grocery store. So it's just delicious. You can stop. So this one is my electric one, so I'm gonna set it for 9 hours. And what I wanted to just show you real quick is that, well, 10 hours, you leave the lids off while you're cooking it, and you put this cover on top so that just sort of locks in all the heat and moisture.